Okay, so we're back, and we got Raf and we got Zoe, MaRy RaFFaeLe, actually. Yes, it sounds so. It sounds so like Sistine Chapel. Your name.
Oh no,
I hate it. No, I really do. I mean, I'm getting used to it, but the whole reason that I started going by Raf was, or RaFFaeLe, when I moved to New York, was because I just felt like MaRy was so Midwestern.
well, it's not really
nice
you,
girl.
but MaRy RaFFaeLe sounds good.
I'm getting used to it now.
No, I like
But
it.
when I introduce her to someone and I'll say like Raf, it's kind of like they're like, what?
So how did
You
you
have to
guys
say
connect?
RaFFaeLe.
Actually, like
We
what?
connected to your ex, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He kind of insisted that we be friends a while ago, and it took a while because we were so similar, and we were kind of like.
He was afraid. He was because he was friends with Jesse Mallon.
Okay.
Was friends with Zoe, and I was like.
We would kind of look at each other like two cats.
And
Like,
so he was
territory, right?
afraid that
Even
there
though we were
was
just
gonna be
friends,
problems,
they used
so
to
he
be-
kept trying to push us together, and then I don't know, we just all of a
Then
sudden
all of a
one day
sudden
we
it
just
was
started
bam.
talking, and it was like, oh, I know you.
Yeah.
So
And then it was and I do say this with the most respect, but it's like she is my sister, but the good part. It's like, honestly, when I need the best advice, there is no one in this world that I run to but Raf, because she has it so bang on and the best instincts, and she's good. She has this goodness that I just don't have. I go off slightly and she'll be like, you know, on track with everything. No, you're very good at that. Well, you're a
I
big
think it's
sister.
just because I've made every bad mistake possible on the
You're
planet.
so good though at it. I keep saying, I think I've made them and worse, but I still do it. That's the problem.
Well, you know, there's a lot to say about both of those things. I was once told by a really old man that I would be a really wise woman one day, and when I asked him why, he said, because the more mistakes you make, the wiser you get. So I said to him, like, are you a wise man? And he said, not at all. I didn't know if he was kidding or serious. I know, he was the cutest man in the whole wide
That
world.
makes sense, and I like that.
I
think I'll
know.
use that.
And I always think of him, and as far as like the friendship thing, like I find that like people that I have that first thing with, if you have that like, and then if you do become friends with those people, they usually do become like your best friend in the whole wide world.
That's absolutely the way it is.
It's so cool. I love that because I know exactly a friend that we hated each other for no reason.
And that's just because you're so damn similar, and you know it.
You recognize it.
mirroring each other in certain ways.
And then when you make that freaking like rope connection or something, it's like entwined, like it's so cool. So like, because I still, once again, like I still don't know where you popped out of, and you know so many people that like I know, like Jenna, lovely Jenna.
This is the weirdest thing. It's because I've been around for such a long time, but you know, I was so out of my mind, so I made little appearances throughout, so we all know the same people.
Yeah.
You know, this little world in which we live, we all know the same people, so it's like, it's kind of that. But, and then, you know, being with Richard, of course,
Right.
you're just thrown into everyone else that he knows too. So I think it was kind of via that, right?
Yeah, it must be. I don't know.
And
But
then Jenna and everyone else. That
yeah, all right. So you were talking about the Yippee Museum. So what's going on at the Yippee Museum?
Monday the 27th, we're both reading for
Of
Puma
June.
Pearl's
Oh, I
poetry.
love Puma Pearl.
She's great.
We love
She's
Puma.
amazing.
Yeah.
She is the coolest lady.
She does this thing once a month at the Yippee Museum. It's a poetry and performance and prose reading, and so we're both going to be reading on that.
I love Puma
27th.
Pearl.
She's wonderful and has been
She
incredibly
taught me what
supportive.
tattooed knuckles meant.
I love that book.
It's
Oh,
so
so what does
good.
it mean? I've got to show you her
Yeah,
book.
what
She-
does tattooed knuckles mean?
She
besides-
told
Yeah,
me
cool,
Tattooed Knuckles is the name of Puma Pearl's book, and she said when somebody's brave enough to put tattoos on their knuckles, it means that they are totally anti-establishment, that they know right away if they go on that job interview, they can't hide those tattoos. I know, and she
It
said
makes
that,
a lot of sense.
and she told me that, and I thought, you know, like people knew who knew, but like, see, I'm so happy you didn't know
But
that.
you know,
But I learned it from Puma Pearl.
I've been wanting to get the knuckle tattoos, and Raf's kind of like, hands, which you're right. But you know, for the longest time, I wanted to get LAMF on my fingers. And I have it on my arm, so I don't know if I wanted to get it done again. But I felt after the age of 40, you can do stuff like that. I don't give a damn.
Right, why would you? Why should you? If you're not, if you still love your tattoos everywhere.
At one point I thought about tattooing my.
Well, you've got really gorgeous
Kim
hands.
wouldn't let me.
No, your hands are beautiful. Don't mess up your hands. I have man hands, so I can do it.
I have another friend, Kim Montenegro, pretty well-known designer, and she's like, no hands, no hands. And now she's got her knuckles are all covered.
She's got all over her hands.
Wow,
Right?
that name sounds so familiar
You know,
because
yeah.
I must, because you remember Corey Calder.
Yeah.
Wasn't Corey friends with Kim, I
Yeah,
think?
yeah, Kim's friends with everybody that we know.
Yeah,
She lives in Philly. She's a denim designer, clothing designer for years. She dated Johnny Thunders when she was a kid.
Right.
If you saw her, you'd go, oh, okay.
Yeah, because Corey's from Philly too originally.
Yeah,
So
they were friends.
yeah.
They were friends for years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they still are, but I mean, when
She's
we were
got
younger,
the
they were very
only
close.
jeans that you want to wear. Really, she does.
That she designs?
These jeans.
Are those them?
Raf's given me a bunch of them. Actually, those ones that you gave me that were one-offs, I love because they're really low cut, but she's absolutely.
Do you think
best
anything
size.
could not look amazing on
The
Zoe?
same thing. It's
I
funny.
mean, come on,
That's a
Zoe.
shock.
I have my
It
I
looks
mean,
great.
I think no matter where the jeans come
I
from.
lost a lot of weight, just recently, and I swear my butt went, my boobs went a whole lot, and I was walking around people going, what the hell are you looking like? So I started stuffing myself again and but I think getting over the stress, I started getting back to normal.
Yeah,
Remember how weird I got looking all of a
Well,
sudden?
you just got super, super skinny.
It was really,
But you're still skinny on your heavy day.
yeah, but you know, I've been lipoed. I had it all sucked out. It's
You
totally
did?
fine.
You had liposuction?
From here to here.
Really? Wow, where'd
Well,
they
I tell
inject
you.
it back? Did they really have to put it back
No,
somewhere?
they just take it out. And
I thought they have to put
Flush
it
it
back
down the toilet.
somewhere. They don't?
well, I've had bits put back in my lips and a little bit hair.
It's
hair
so
irritation.
funny. This past Wednesday on ReW, someone was talking about Botox and how it's like, do it. I know.
Hell yeah.
Botox is wonderful.
Everybody.
Big believers.
I'm always like the one that thinks I'll get the freaking palsy, you know? Like, I'm serious. I will. I'll get the side effect. My doctor said to me, your odds of getting hit by a taxi are better than getting that.
Yeah. And the problem is it only lasts for like 2 seconds.
Like everything else.
Yeah.
The 2 seconds, it's over. That's why they just stop working, right?
But you know what? I think if I smoke weed these days, which I don't, I'd be so scared if it lasts longer than that because I think the last time I had a hit off a joint was maybe 10 years ago. One hit, I was a giggling maniac for 3 hours. And I was like, oh, I just can't do this. I was so, and paranoid, and then I ate like 3 boxes of cookies. And it is so strong these days. It's not like it used to be.
No, nothing's like it used to
So
be.
if that feeling lasted long, I would have been committed.
Right?
Yeah, I can't do that, no really.
No, I
That's a
believe
strong
you.
drug. That's a strong drug.
I've never liked pot.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I kind of think I remember that about you.
Yeah, no,
So
I-
what, do you party
I
still
like
this
my
day?
cocktail. I like a nice cocktail.
That's
She
good.
likes her wine.
Yeah.
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock wine.
That's cool.
Wine o'clock.
Wine
I'm
o'clock.
Such a housewife.
Aww, that's
funny.
cute.
Yeah,
So the Yippee Museum is June 27th, and you're going to be doing poetry.
No, neither one of us. I mean, I've written poetry, I guess, but I haven't ever thought to read it out loud to anybody.
I don't want to scare people that much. Jesus. Poetry. I get as far as poetry, kind of roses are red. No, I mean, I'm
There's a
actually,
rose.
I don't really know what I'm going to be reading. I haven't figured it out. You better remind me 2 hours before we go on so I can write something.
I started writing about the one and only time I stripped, and my computer exploded. So if
Maybe that was a sign.
So wait, so on the show we do like to talk about skeletons in the closet. So maybe you guys could each share a juicy little skeleton.
You know, we were talking about it when you asked the
Right.
last people.
Yeah,
Everything I have is out in the open.
I know. It doesn't
We
have to
are
be a
such
secret.
big mouths. I don't think anyone doesn't know.
Do you have a good story, like
Anything.
from back in the day?
Well, I have horrific stories. I can tell you something horrific. You want to hear a funny, like weird, nasty story?
Sure.
Okay, one day, one of my, I was living in the Chelsea Hotel, we're talking early, like middle 80s, and I was staying in the old room 100, which then was room 102. And I was a stone cold speedballing maniac, so I was really out of my mind. And I'm lying on this big king-size bed, and it was a huge apartment, 2 apartments that had been knocked into one. Sleeping on the king-size bed, which I'd never made, because the maids would come in and make up the room. So I see that a corner of the sheet has been pulled up, and I see a stain underneath. I'm like, ooh, like, am I sleeping on, like some girls had a period here? I pull up the sheet, and the stain is really massive, and it's a deep brown stain. I go, ooh, dear, what is this?
No.
Let me investigate. I pick up the box spring, and sure enough, all the way through the box spring was this massive brown stain that could only be one thing. Nancy had bled out on the very bed that I slept on for years. So I went down to Stanley Bard and knocked on the door.
Wow.
Excuse me, Stanley, I've got something to talk to you about. There's a horrible stain on my bed. And he was like, oh, you're in the old room 100. Oh, they must have forgotten to take out the bed. We'll take care of it. But they never did. And the weird thing is, I was never bothered by it.
Right.
And I continued to sleep on the blood-stained bed, which right now I could get a lot of money for on eBay. But
Do you still have it?
no, I moved out a long time ago.
Right.
I did not
You
think
didn't
to
take the mattress. Exactly. Oh, there you go. Especially today. It's funny how, like, today, certain things have devalued. You can't make $1, but certain things.
What do you think
Like-
Nancy's blood would have gone for these days?
I think it
Pretty
might.
penny.
You could have probably cut that whole mattress up and sold in pieces.
Like the
That's
Berlin
true.
Wall.
That's
Wow.
true.
Who thinks
Right.
like that at the
Yeah, I
time,
know.
you know? Like,
Or made another Nancy with the so much.
oh, you could clone her.
It was horrific. I thought someone had spilled maybe a cup of hot chocolate because it was like brown like that. But there was so much, and you know, for all that I then investigated everything. Of
You know,
course,
I feel like they knew that it would be that much of attraction because why wouldn't you change
can
the
I tell you
mattress
something?
immediately?
Back
Doesn't make sense.
then, they didn't give a shit.
Really?
That place was run so crazy that it was an oversight. Like, oh, you know, she's bled out on that. It was, oh, we'll change it, or maybe just put
So
something
do you
over
think
it.
that
Spray a
he
little
killed her?
Lysol.
You know, from what I've heard, and actually I've gone on tape talking about this because I was, someone interviewed me for the Sid and Nancy thing. Rockets was a friend of mine, and he did tell me that he confessed to me that he did it. Now, a lot of people say they've heard the same thing. Some people say, hell no. All I know is what crazy old Rocket said to me, which was, it's gonna come out soon. And you know, I'm writing a memoir about this.
You mean Rocket's Red Glare?
It's Red Glare.
Rocket said he did it?
Yeah, and he told a lot of
Yeah, there
people.
was always the rumor that he did it, but he.
Oh, do I have Rocket's?
Yeah.
You know, he was a nut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he was crazy enough to say that he
Yeah,
did when
totally
he
He
did.
crazy.
wanted the
He
attention.
wanted
I-
attention.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not no expert, and I wasn't there. But it feels to me when you're doing that much
Yeah,
drugs,
you
and
don't-
she was so crazy anyway that it was probably some bullshit fight that
Yeah,
he
it
didn't remember the
didn't mean
next
it.
day.
Right,
You know.
and
I
it
think
didn't mean to
all
escalate
say-
to that.
It was a big stupid, and it just became a ruckus. And
Yeah.
of course, poor old Sid, I mean, from what I know, and I wasn't around to know those people, but from what I know, he couldn't have really done it. I
I
can't
know.
imagine.
All right, wait, we
doing
gotta
that.
take another break, and we're gonna come back again because we got time still with you guys, because you're special.